Alright guys, sorry for a bit of a late rest day video. It's just been a busy week per se. I ended up getting pretty sick. Just after that leg day, I just felt like shit going into it, and I kind of felt like, oh, I just need to get to sleep, you know. I just need to get some sleep, take an early rest day, but I was like, no, fuck it. Let's hit this leg day, because you know, there's obviously times when you dead ass actually need to take a rest day and your body's just getting sick or whatever. But then there's just the days where you're just like, oh man, I don't really feel like going to the gym. And I knew it wasn't one of those days where I just didn't feel like going to the gym. I knew I was actually getting a little sick, but I kind of just decided, well, let's just push through it, you know? And that was kind of a decision. I regretted it a little because I got home and I just started feeling dizzy and lightheaded, and so I just went to bed, and you know, I woke up at 5. I texted my boss and I was like, hey, I feel like shit. I don't think I'm gonna make it in today. And then so I just went back to sleep and woke back up at 1 o'clock, got some amazing sleep. I was still pretty sick, didn't feel great. I you know, tried to eat a meal, wasn't hungry, went back to bed, and then the next morning still felt like shit on Friday. So I texted my boss again, went back to sleep, woke up at noon, and I was starting to feel a little better. And then now today's Saturday and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty recovered. Still definitely a little drowsy and everything, but for the most part I feel pretty great. For the most part. And that's all that matters. But anyways, this is gonna be my rest day video. Then after I film this, I'm probably gonna go work out chest and shoulders, but this will be rest day. We're not gonna read a comic of the fuck, my nose is just so runny. I think I also might have a nosebleed. Fuck it, Weeball, I'm just gonna ignore it. But it's been a crazy week, guys. You know, just with that assassination and the school shooting, it just kind of makes you be like, fuck, what is going on with our country? You know, I'm seeing a lot of different views and opinions all over the internet, and obviously that's not the point of my channel, right? I'm not trying to be all political and persuade someone to believe this or to believe that. But what I do believe is, no matter, you know, if you're left-leaning or right-leaning or you're smack dab in the middle, all I know is at the end of the day, you know, assassinating someone for voicing their opinion is never okay. I've seen a lot of liberals still standing up for Charlie Kirk. I mean, that was fucked up. Obviously didn't agree with his opinion, but you know, he's just using his First Amendment. And obviously, me personally, I'm more right-leaning, all right? We can just get that out of the way. I'm from Wyoming. What the fuck do you expect, right? I grew up around ranchers and hunters and fucking guns and a lot of open country. And it's I guess I don't really know what to say, but Wyoming is always been a red state, always will be a red state. That's how it is. So obviously for me, I think what upsets me the most about Charlie Kirk is it makes me feel like the First Amendment is it's at stake, you know? Because if somebody doesn't like what you're saying, the fact that they're just gonna go and assassinate you, because all Charlie Kirk was doing was he was going to college campuses, setting up booths, debate me, and kids would debate him. He'd let them talk, you know? He'd let the kids talk. He gave kids a platform to express their opinion. And then he was kind of this is why you're wrong, you know? And I really respected him for that, because I feel like he was a good voice for the youth. I feel like youth doesn't get a lot of representation, you know, especially young college kids. And it's you just believe everything you see on the internet. So if you can go watch a dude like Charlie and see him actually putting facts out there and everything, it's whoa, you know, it kind of gives you a different way to look at things, right? If I just looked at the internet and went off everything I've seen on the internet, I would probably be very, very left-leaning, just because of there's so much propaganda But I feel nowadays it's very important to kind of look at a lot of different sources. And I wouldn't say I'm entirely right wing, you know. I'd say I'm kind of in the middle, you know. But I feel like that's how most people should be. They should be open-minded to ideas from both sides, both political parties. That's the whole reason there's two political parties, is you're choosing the better candidate out of both, right? But it's just a shame. I mean, I'm just like, it really shocked me like seeing that happen, because it's one of those things you'd never expect to happen. Like, if you had told me a month ago that Charlie Kirk was gonna get assassinated at a rally in Utah, I'd be like, shut the fuck up, you know? But it happened, and it's devastating, it's sad. He was a really good dude, and I think what also makes it really hard for me is just like, he had a wife and kids, you know? He's like early 30s, you know, just had 2 like baby girls, a beautiful wife, they were married, and it's just like, now his wife's a widow, and his 2 daughters are gonna have to go the rest of their life without their dad, and they are so young. And I guess I just have sympathy for them, you know. And I feel like at the end of the day, even if you fucking hated Charlie Kirk with everything you got, you should be able to like sit down and look at what happened and realize like, hey, I might not have agreed with him, but you know, him getting assassinated, so fucked up. And that's like what our country was built on, was the ability to, you know, pretty much in a summed up version, say whatever the fuck you want. Whether or not people like it, in America, you can say what you want. You have that First Amendment right. And that's what like splits us so entirely different from so many other countries. You can't go to most other countries and express your political opinions or express your beliefs like you could in America. Here in America, you can decide to say whatever you want. You can express yourself freely. And that's why people want to be in America. That's why people love America. And it just makes it hard seeing someone get killed over like such a fundamental right, you know, in our Constitution. Like, seeing someone get killed over that, it's just like, dude, like, if people start getting killed over the First Amendment, it makes me really struggle, like, to think like, oh, where's our country gonna go? You know what I mean? It's a scary thought. And yeah, I don't even know what to say. It's like, where the fuck is our country heading? You know, but I think Charlie Kirk's death is going to lead to a lot more people like standing up. I guarantee you there's going to be a lot of these rally style events, but you know, I'm not going to get any more political than what I've said. That's just kind of my thoughts, my opinions on this. You know, it sucks. It's a shitty world, you know. And it happened to someone not deserving of it. I don't think anyone's deserving of that. If I had seen someone on the left get assassinated that was doing the same thing Charlie Kirk was doing, I would be pissed. I'd be like, that's so fucked up. You know, he had a wife and kids. I may not have agreed with what he said, but at the end of the day, the First Amendment gives you the freedom of speech, right? And nobody deserves to get killed over one of their amendments. So I think it just pisses me off when I see people on the internet talking all, good shot this, good shot that, oh, thank God. It's like, I don't know, go to Charlie Kirk's wife's Instagram page and look at the videos of like her husband in the casket. All right, guys, Meadow came in, sorry. But anyways, you know, like seeing just like the pictures of her husband's hand in the casket and like kind of her reaction to everything. And like, obviously you can tell she's trying to be like strong for her kids, you know, because it's like, she doesn't really want her kids to, like, she's trying to like tell it to him easy, like, hey, like, your daddy's not going to be around anymore. But obviously, like, when your kids are so young, it's kind of hard to explain to them, like, someone's dead. And especially their dad at that. No mom wants to tell their kid their dad died. And in such a horrific way. And the kids and the wife, like, watched him get shot. And obviously, guys, don't look it up. I wouldn't look it up if I were you. I've seen the video of him getting shot. It's brutal. Like, it's fucking sickening what happened to him. And he was just a good dude. It really sucks, you know, but cruel world, guys. Very, very cruel world we live in. It's a shame, but you know, hopefully this, in maybe a sensible way, kind of helps put America back on track. It really does suck, and he's such a great dude, and it's such a shitty way to damper our First Amendment, I feel, but hopefully now our First Amendment is stronger than ever. And it sucks that someone's life was at the cost of that, and such a good dude. And I don't think anybody's life should be at cost for that, but you know, hopefully his life being taken isn't in vain. Hopefully maybe it helps our country and kind of helps people realize, like, hey, you know, like, censorship is not okay. And I mean, I've kind of just noticed, like, since I was in high school, just like noticed censorship everywhere. Like, I remember I'd like see something and I'd like try and find opinions on it, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, why can I only find like this party's opinion on it? I was like, where's this other side's opinion? Or where's like these facts that everyone keeps relating to? I can't find these facts. It's like everything's so like media bias, and that's why I don't watch news outlets. I try and stay out of the news, truthfully. Like, I try and just keep to myself, you know. I'm not too entertained by the news or anything, and I feel like most news outlets, whether they're right wing or left wing, I feel like no matter what, they all get skewered in the end, which is a shame. It's just, you know, I wish people could just be like, they could be friends at the end of the day. Like, they could be like, hey, you think this, I think that. That's okay, we have different opinions. That's why we're both our own people. You can think we need to keep our gun rights, and I can think we don't need our gun rights. Whatever, you know, that's okay. You can have your own opinion, I can have my own opinion, right? You don't want guns, I want guns. We can both have our own opinion, we can come to a compromise, but at the end of the day, you know, we just gotta realize we're both our own individual people, and at the end of the day, we're both gonna have our own opinions, which is really what it comes down to. Everyone's got their own opinions. Some people have agreeing opinions, and some people have disagreeing opinions. And at the end of the day, most people aren't gonna wanna change their opinion, unfortunately. And that's okay, you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and you know, it is what it is, but it's really a shame. And then there was a school shooting the same day, which also, you know, not good at all. It always sucks when there's a school shooting, and it's terrible. And I think it was like a middle school, so it's like, it's just like, why, dude? I guess just the thought that somebody would want to shoot up a school is just bonkers to me. Like, I understand like getting bullied and stuff, man, but like, it's like you're killing like bullies maybe, but you're also killing like innocent people, you know? And like, if it's middle school and there's like 14-year-olds killed, 13-year-olds, it's like, dude, they probably weren't even a quarter of the way through their life. They probably had another 60, 70, maybe even 80 years left of their life, you know, to get married, have kids, go to college, pursue a profession. Maybe they would have been the next Hall of Fame NFL quarterback. Who knows? You took away that kid's chance to be something in life. And that's just what really hurts me thinking about that. It's really, really sad. And then watching the video of that girl get stabbed on the bus and by a African American is just like, holy fuck. And the fact that like media outlets were trying to like hide that was like a serious what the fuck to me. And obviously you can think what you want. Obviously, since like COVID, there's been a lot of like the whole BLM movement and everything, and like there's been a lot of bias towards that. And obviously you know, there's like a lot of shitty stuff that happened to black people, right? And it really sucks. But it also seems like sometimes the media outlet tries to kind of like chain the situations to, you know, attend to that agenda a little more. It feels agenda biased sometimes. And the fact that this wasn't shown seemed agenda biased. On my Instagram story, I actually shared this photo. It was like an AI photo where it was like, instead on the bus, the girl was black and everyone surrounding was white. And it was like, this is just an AI photo, but imagine this is how the roles were in reality. It would be plastered fucking everywhere, guarantee it. If some white dude stabbed a black girl for nothing and then just said, I got that black girl, and then the white bystanders on the bus just did nothing while that black girl was bleeding out, oh my God, it would be fucking everywhere. People would be outraged. But nobody cares about this innocent white girl from Ukraine. And the black dude stabbed her, and then there was black bystanders on the bus, and they were like, looked at her and walked off or just like ignored her. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how could you as a person do that? If I see that happening, holy fuck, I'm tackling that dude, beating the fucking piss out of him, and then trying to save this girl, right? It's like, this girl might have had a chance at living if somebody would have just stepped in, you know, helped her. But instead, people just watched and let her die. And that's really heartbreaking to me. And I don't think it's racist of me to kind of say something like if the roles were reversed, because due to proven track history, I can firmly believe if the roles were reversed, that's probably what would happen. And obviously, guys, at the end of the day, there's a lot of, you know, hate-based crime. Like, there's a lot of hate crime based on race, religion, whatever. But I just feel like a lot of times white people, us, get a lot of a bad rep, which really sucks, you know. And I'm probably getting into it too politically deep, and so I'm probably going to shut myself where I'm at. Because at the end of the day, I don't want to be a politically targeted channel. That's not my goal as a content creator. My goal as a content creator, obviously, first off, entertain you guys. But then obviously, second off, entertain you guys via gym aspects, right? Because that's what I'm passionate for. I'm not politically passionate, you know. I could rather give two shits about persuading you guys to vote for whoever, persuade you guys to switch to whatever party. I don't really give a shit about that. You know, at the end of the day, you're going to make your decision. I'm going to make my decision. And that's okay. That's how life is. Everyone's got their own opinion, but I just hope you guys can agree with me that what's happened to Charlie Kirk was not okay. Everyone here has got their First Amendment, and it's like if I went out in the street and started like telling people McDonald's is better because this and this and this, and then someone shot me for it, and then some asshole like tweeted on Twitter, asshole got what he deserved, Burger King's better. And obviously that's silly compared to like the grand scheme of everything with Charlie Kirk. Obviously he was like in a more big field of people where it's like people get so torn up with each other and want to tear each other down because they're politically, their views are different. But I'm just gonna end the video here, guys. I'm sorry for the 2-day absence. Really felt like shit. Gonna upload this rest day video today, and then I'm about to go hit Chest and Shoulders, and Meadow came and picked up Bingo. She's gonna hang out with her her house with her mom and her family for a little bit while I work out. So yeah, but I love you guys all so much. Thank you for watching.